Sometimes truth hides behind the roar of an engine, especially when that engine belongs to a legendary Japanese machine fine-tuned to unleash unearthly speeds. Japan's tuner culture wasn't built merely on sleek designs and iconic brand names. It sprang from a powerful blend of innovation, adrenaline, and most captivating of all, controversy. Beneath every immaculate paint job and polished turbo lies a tapestry of whispered rumors, heated rivalries, and untold stories that never quite reach the mainstream. What makes these cars so addictive isn't just their potential to humble exotics worth 10 times their cost. It's the mystique around them, the midnight runs on Tokyo expressways, the small secretive shops churning out monstrous horsepower, and the storied networks of enthusiasts who swap details under the radar. Some might call it an obsession, others see it as a sacred rite of passage, but no one can deny how this phenomenon shaped the global car landscape. Today, we'll unearth everything from the rebellious roots of Japan's post-war automotive upstarts to the cutting-edge technology that continues to push performance boundaries. We'll touch on the hush-hush controversies involving stolen VINs, shady auctions, and clandestine track meets where the line between legal and illicit is perpetually blurred. Most importantly, we'll explore how these legends keep evolving, weaving together old-school passion and new-age engineering to create something that's as confounding as it is extraordinary. Buckle up. This ride is about to get wild. In the decades following World War II, Japan underwent a remarkable transformation from a nation reeling under devastation to one of the world's most technologically advanced powerhouses. With resources scarce and an unrelenting pressure to rebuild, efficiency and ingenuity became national obsessions. From those conditions emerged a cohort of engineers and mechanics who thrived on pushing the limits, determined to extract every ounce of performance from any machine they touched. This fervor spilled into motorsports. Early Japanese compacts like the Datsun 510 proved that small, nimble cars could stand toe-to-toe with heavier, more powerful Western models. Grassroots races sprung up in mountain passes and empty lots, feeding a restless community that wanted more than just factory specs. Tuning wasn't a hobby, it was a statement. If you could take a modestly powered family car and transform it into a track-slaying beast on a shoestring budget, you were carrying on a tradition of resourcefulness forged by an entire generation's will to adapt and excel. But that wasn't the whole story. As Japan's automobile industry gained global attention, a parallel culture was brewing on side streets and back alleys. Young mechanics and speed junkies, often with minimal formal education, would gather around battered engines, determined to coax out hidden potential. Fueled by a mix of camaraderie and competition, the tuner craze began to transcend the boundaries of local car clubs and DIY meetups. People overseas caught wind of these homemade wonders, leading to a cross-pollination of ideas and techniques. And just like that, the stage was set for a new era in high-performance automotive history. If there's a single phenomenon that captures the raw spirit of Japanese tuner culture, it's the high-speed runs on Tokyo's expressways. Often referred to in hushed tones as the wangen, during the late-night hours, sleek silhouettes would slip onto these roads, headlights low, turbos spooling, and speedometers spinning toward unthinkable digits. Official motorsports had its rules and sponsorships, but on these highways, there were only two concerns: raw power and raw nerve. Gradually, the authorities began to crack down. Whispered stories spread about entire police squads dedicating themselves to capturing the fabled ghost tuners who roamed the Wangan and beyond. Yet every effort to curtail street racing simply fueled the mythos. Tabloids highlighted dramatic chases, and urban legends swirled around seemingly invincible vehicles capable of reaching speeds that defied both logic and law. Whether in the heart of Tokyo or in industrial complexes after dusk, the presence of these underground racers was impossible to ignore, and even harder to forget. And what happened next would shock everyone. Emboldened by the surge of interest, a more secretive network of illegal racing clubs took shape. Some had membership rosters so elite, you needed a personal introduction from a trusted insider to even be considered. Initiation rituals sometimes included outrageous challenges, like drifting perilously close to shipping crates in deserted docks. Bets soared into astronomical figures, and in some instances, it wasn't just about money. Reputations and entire livelihoods were on the line. Soon enough, the line between harmless underground pastime and high-stakes crime ring blurred, leaving both novices and veterans to question the true cost of their need for speed. When people think of Japanese tuner cars, certain names come up again and again. The Nissan Skyline GTR, the Mazda RX-7, and the Toyota Supra are just a few of the shining beacons in an illustrious pantheon. These machines don't just dominate track days and dyno competitions, they also carry a certain aura that sparks passionate debates and sometimes volatile rivalries. But behind the gleaming fenders and carefully detailed build threads, each of these models has its share of lesser-known secrets and controversies. Take the Skyline GTR, nicknamed Godzilla after its fearsome track performance. Rumors circulated about stolen GTR shells shipped overseas, only to be resurrected using questionable paperwork. Some owners, desperate to escape Japan's strict vehicle inspection requirements, allegedly resorted to forging documents to keep their heavily modded Skyline street legal. Then there was the Mazda RX-7 story. While its lightweight rotary engine wowed the world with stratospheric RPM, countless enthusiasts discovered too late that this mechanical marvel also demanded meticulous maintenance. Stories abound of unscrupulous sellers concealing rotor housing damage, effectively dooming inexperienced buyers to an endless cycle of repairs. And the Toyota Supra, it's said that some of the most pristine examples never even touched the road. Instead, they languished in private collections or became the centerpiece of shady import schemes, where wealthy collectors paid small fortunes to snatch them up before any real authority could verify the car's origins. But that only scratched the surface. As import bans and stringent safety standards took hold in various countries, some resellers exploited loopholes by registering cars in less restrictive regions. Others resorted to outright fraud, slapping older VIN plates onto newer vehicles. Often, these scams involved multiple shell companies to keep the trail cold. For every breathtaking build posted online, there might be a clandestine story of shady deals or hushed auctions behind it. Facts you'll rarely see glorified in glossy magazine spreads or social media highlight reels. If you've ever stepped into a Japanese tuning shop, particularly one off the beaten path, you've likely encountered an awe-inspiring array of parts. From standalone engine management systems to rare turbo kits, the shelves are stacked with possibilities. The appeal is powerful. Pick the right combination, and you could double or triple your car's output. Yet where there's big money, there's big temptation. Behind the scenes, a swirling undercurrent of unethical practices has occasionally undermined the aftermarket's sparkling reputation. Stories of counterfeit parts are surprisingly common. Unscrupulous suppliers might pass off substandard turbos as name brand, preying on novices who trust the brand's stickers on the compressor housings. Some smaller shops, cornered by financial pressure, turn to black market channels to keep costs low, perhaps selling stolen catalytic converters or mystery engine blocks at suspiciously low prices. The result? Unknowing buyers end up with ticking time bombs under the hood and potentially face criminal liability if they've inadvertently installed stolen components. And it gets more unsettling. Among enthusiasts, rumors float about unscrupulous shops forging emissions compliance certificates to help customers pass inspection. In some regions, these alleged forgeries turned so rampant that officials launched sting operations targeting tuner meets. Overnight, once thriving garages faced raids and shutdowns, shocking loyal customers who believed their parts had been cleared through legitimate processes. For a subculture that prides itself on community spirit, the introduction of these cutthroat tactics has sown a mix of bitterness and distrust. Some vow never to purchase from smaller, lesser-known vendors again, while others remain devoted, insisting these controversies are just outliers in a scene still driven by genuine passion. For better or worse, pop culture played a monumental role in exposing the tuner scene to the masses. From iconic racing video games to blockbuster franchises that magnified the spectacle of underground street racing, the essence of Japanese imports and their impossible power figures exploded onto screens worldwide. Overnight, average viewers who barely knew the difference between rear-wheel drive and front-wheel drive were throwing around terms like 2JZ, VTEC, and RB26 as if they were lifelong gearheads. This massive surge in popularity brought both blessings and curses. On one hand, global demand for legendary models skyrocketed, leading to an economic boost for exporters and tuner shops. On the other hand, once affordable cars became status symbols, their prices surging well beyond the reach of the average enthusiast. A Skyline GTR that might have sold for a modest sum in Japan could suddenly fetch jaw-dropping figures abroad. The Toyota Supra, once underappreciated, turned into a halo car commanding supercar-level price tags at exclusive auctions. Even the humble Honda Civic Type R and Acura Integra Type R saw their values rise exponentially, with pristine examples being hoarded by collectors who rarely even started the engines. But the real shocker, rumors persist of big money collectors going to extreme lengths to secure the rarest variations. Some high-profile personalities, including celebrities and influencers, are said to have orchestrated under-the-table deals, offering cash-stuffed envelopes to leapfrog waiting lists, or convincing importers to disguise production years so they could slip through regulations. Though concrete evidence is often elusive, these stories refuse to fade. Whenever an especially sought-after model sells for an eye-popping sum, speculation resurfaces about behind-the-scenes manipulations, fueling fan debates on social media and at local meets. For many fans, the most electrifying aspect of Japanese tuner culture is the sheer performance potential lurking within these vehicles. Time and again, enthusiasts have proven that engines like the 2J's GTE or RB26D ET can handle eye-watering horsepower with only moderate internal upgrades. Set up the right turbo kit, dial in the fueling, and thousands of extra horsepower are suddenly on tap, transforming a relatively affordable car into a supercar destroyer. Yet not every high-horsepower tale has a fairy tale ending. There are the lesser-known sagas of meltdown engines, annihilated transmissions, and ghost shops that vanish after taking sizable deposits. In some cases, an eager enthusiast might entrust their prized car to a tuning house promising 800 horsepower on stock internals. A few weeks later, a frantic phone call reveals that the entire power plant was fried beyond repair, and the tuner shop has closed down, re-emerging under a different name in another part of town. It's an unfortunate reminder that pushing the boundaries of physics always involves risk, especially when dealing with mechanics whose reputations are built on social media hearsay rather than proven expertise. And the mysteries don't stop there. A few whisper that certain record-breaking dyno pulls are heavily staged or manipulated. One shop might run iced-down intercoolers, borderline race fuel mixtures, or even remove vital accessories to squeeze out a few extra horsepower for that social media-worthy screenshot. Others suspect some tuners tamper with the dyno's calibration to generate inflated numbers, a secret that only gets out when the car fails to replicate its record performance in real-world conditions. As you might imagine, these allegations spark endless controversy among gearheads, who argue passionately on forums about which builds are legitimate and which are just chasing clout. As the automotive landscape shifts toward hybrid and electric technologies, many wonder whether the golden age of combustion-fueled tuning is nearing its end. A wave of new performance hybrids from Japan has shown that the future might be more about complex electronics than purely mechanical wizardry, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Rumors swirl of entire tuner shops pivoting to EV swaps, eager to harness the instant torque of electric motors to beat their old horsepower records. But the question remains, will these electric marvels satisfy the visceral hunger for sound, smell, and mechanical engagement that has defined tuner culture for generations? Some controversies revolve around the legal ramifications of extensively modifying hybrids or electric vehicles. Traditional tuning relies on altering intakes, exhausts, and internal engine components, but in an EV, the guts are high-voltage batteries and complex electronic control units. Governments are already grappling with how to regulate self-installed battery packs or custom-coded ECUs that bypass official safety measures. It's not outlandish to imagine a near-future scenario where tinkering with an EV's control systems might result in serious legal trouble or void any semblance of factory warranty. Enthusiasts are left to debate whether these forthcoming challenges will reinvigorate tuner culture or stifle it. And even more perplexing, a swirl of gossip suggests that major Japanese automakers might be developing tuner-friendly electric platforms, layouts that encourage part upgrades and software modifications without triggering safety alarms. If those rumors prove true, we could see a whole new wave of car enthusiasts diving into battery management strategies, advanced cooling systems, and open source coding. But for now, speculation reigns supreme, leaving everyone to wonder if the next Skyline or Supra iteration will arrive powered by electrons yet still carry the spirit of pure, unadulterated speed. Wherever you find tight-knit communities, you'll also find heated rivalries. One of the most enduring showdowns pits Mitsubishi and Subaru loyalists against each other. For decades, the Lancer Evolution and the Impreza WRX STI dueled on dirt roads and rally stages, igniting countless debates over which brand held the rightful throne. Some fans remain fiercely devoted, wearing brand-themed jackets, plastering social media with memes mocking the rival, and refusing to acknowledge any redeeming quality in the other's platform. Then, of course, you have the comedic feud between Honda's VTEC faithful and Nissan's turbo enthusiasts. One side praises the surgical precision and screams screaming red lines of naturally aspirated engines with variable valve timing. The other flexes torque-laden dyno charts courtesy of forced induction. On forums and in spirited garage banter, each camp insists that theirs is the path to enlightenment, yet behind the posturing, you'll discover a surprising cross-pollination. At track events, a Honda driver might rely on a tuner famed for their RB builds, while a Nissan guy might adopt advanced suspension geometry developed by a Honda specialist. In those shared workshops, brand allegiances fade, replaced by the universal language of raw performance. But the biggest surprise of all, some rumor mills claim a handful of top-secret collaboration projects are underway, where legendary tuners from different factions have joined forces to create ultimate Frankenstein builds that blend multiple brand technologies. These hush-hush alliances supposedly happen behind unmarked shop doors, far from prying eyes. The speculation alone is enough to send ripples of excitement through every corner of the tuner universe. If and when these contraptions see the light of day, they may well redefine what we consider possible in the realm of street-legal performance. From unassuming backstreet garages to high-profile auctions raking in millions, Japan's tuner scene defies easy description. It is at once a historic hotbed of innovation and a modern stage where hype, money, and mystery collide. At its heart, this culture embodies a spirit of resilience, a reflection of how a resource-scarce nation transformed necessity into a passion that grips enthusiasts worldwide. The controversies, stolen VINs, forged documents, and nighttime highway races aren't mere sensational footnotes. They're woven into the very identity of Japanese performance culture, lending it an edge that glistens with both brilliance and danger. So where does this leave us today? The market for classic JDM icons grows ever more frenzied, while a new wave of hybrid and electric propulsion threatens to rewrite everything. Some argue that the golden age has ended, replaced by a corporatized big-budget arms race. Others see an invigorating new frontier, one that challenges the boundaries of what tuning can mean in an era of advanced electronics and artificial intelligence. Regardless, one undeniable truth remains. Japan's tuner cars hold a unique place in automotive history, capturing the imaginations of countless admirers and, just as importantly, spark countless unending debates over where the future is headed. The next time you see a pristine Supra rolling down the street or hear the banshee wail of a VTEC engine at $9 grand, take a moment to consider the deeper story lurking beneath that glossy exterior. After all, these machines aren't just feats of mechanical ingenuity, they're artifacts of a cultural phenomenon shaped by audacity, rivalry, secrecy, and an unrelenting hunger for the extraordinary. Could it be that the best is yet to come? Or are we merely witnessing the final chapters of a grand automotive saga? The answer lies in the horizon, beckoning us to keep tuning, keep chasing, and above all, keep dreaming, no matter where technology leads us next.